So in this video, I'm going to talk about my first steps into football and my first experiences and how I got scouted by an academy. Each guest that comes on this episode or podcast or whatever you want to call it, we're going to ask them 3 questions. Best bit of advice they received, something they wish they knew sooner, and also the one trait they think they must have to become a professional footballer. So for me, the one bit of advice that's the best I've ever received is to control the controllables. I just feel like as a footballer or an aspiring footballer, we waste too much time worrying about stuff that we can't do anything about. So all you can affect is your diet, how hard you train, your recovery, the effort you put into training. You can't control the coach's decision, you can't control the referee, you can't control anything like that, so just control the controllables. Something I wish I knew sooner was, especially in my personal case and the academy I grew up in, was 95% of the time the coaches know better. So don't just, you're playing for an academy but you don't know it all, so just listen and take on board and be a sponge for the information. And the one trait I think you must have to become a professional footballer is discipline. I don't think you need, if you don't have discipline, you won't have a consistent career. You might be okay for 6 months or 12 months, but you won't have a 10, 15 year career span if you don't have that discipline, because there's going to be some days which you just don't want to do anything. Unfortunately, football's 24/7. You can't have 2 days off. You can't just have 2 days of binge eating because someone else isn't. So it's that discipline that'll keep you going. Just a quick one, make sure you like this video, share it as much as possible and subscribe to the channel. If you don't do those 3, you'll never make it as a professional footballer. So like most kids, I started off in grassroots football. You know, I was probably about 5 or 6. Your parents, in my case, my dad was a bit more dominant or prominent in my footballing journey. So he put me into the 1 or 2 local grassroots teams. I always played a year up. I don't think I realised that at the time, because you're just a kid that's playing football with your mates really. So I didn't think much of it, but maybe in hindsight my dad did that for a challenging reason and progression. Maybe he had a bigger plan in mind, I don't know. But at the time I didn't even probably know they were older. So yeah, we had a good team. I think 3 of us, including myself, so me and 2 others, we ended up getting scholarships at academies, which I think is quite rare for an under 7, under 8 teams to have 3 full-time footballers in the future. The Blues die-hard fans, you might know Callum Riley. I think he played about 40, 50 games in the first team. He managed to break through and had a good footballing league career. He was in my team. And yeah, so it was a lot of grassroots for the first season or 2. And if it wasn't grassroots, I was in this like Brazilian soccer school. So like your indoor football with the heavy footballs, and that's mainly technical work. So the ball never leaves the floor because it's heavy, doesn't bounce. You're just getting loads of ball touches, inside soles, outsides, both feet, lots of 1v1s, 2v2 situations. And again, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. You just think, yeah, more football, brilliant. Bigger picture, my dad probably thought, yeah, more ball touches. He's going to be more comfortable with the ball in pressured situations when he gets older. But again, at the time, it was just, let's just play as much football as possible. And if it wasn't at the Brazilian schools or it wasn't at grassroots, it was just down the park with friends, dad, schoolmates, cousins, whatever. Just basically doing whatever I could to have a football at my feet. And I think that kind of showed in the way I played, because I wasn't really interested in the defending side. I wasn't bothered too much about, the slide tackles and the heading and all that sort of stuff, but I loved having the ball at my feet and I loved just striking the ball. The mindset then I wasn't doing this at 5 or 6 or 7 to be the best player I could be. It wasn't, I need to do this to be getting an academy, I need to do this to become a professional footballer. It was, I'm just doing this because I enjoy it, because I was obsessed with football. Like, it was just fun, it was my hobby. So again, maybe my dad had a different plan of why I should be doing it, but for me, and he never really portrayed that at that age, it was very much fun based. And I don't see enough kids doing that these days. I don't see enough kids just taking a football down the park and getting familiar with the football, touching it with their thighs, their chest. Obviously there's limits on their heads, but different parts of the feet, smashing the ball against the wall. You literally just need a wall. Just get your distances, learn the flight of the ball, the judgment of the ball. I just don't think there's enough of that. I don't see enough kids doing keepy-ups anymore. I don't see enough kids obsessed with the football. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I'd give to parents. If you've got kids that are interested in football, just let them have as much football at their feet as possible. Like I said, even if it wasn't at the Brazilian schools or training, we'd play in the lounge. We'd get a little tennis ball or a little size 1 mini ball, and we just play in the sofas, use the sofas as goals, and just touch the football as much as possible. So that would be my advice to kids. So like I said, I was playing grassroots football for probably 1, 2, maybe 2 or 3 seasons. Always playing a year above myself, and I just remember it being fun. I just remember having just looking forward to. I don't really remember the trainings because obviously you're 5 or 6, you don't remember that much. But I remember the games. I remember the end of season tournaments down in Breen. And I just remember, just having fun with your mates. And it was then I started getting scouted by a few academies, but it wasn't a case of I wasn't going out onto the pitch knowing that if I play well, there might be a scout watching, or that wasn't the goal for me personally as a kid. It was just, let's just play. Again, parents might have a different view. You might pick a grassroots team that you think's got the best chance of getting scouted. That's different, that's 2 different viewpoints. But for me as a child, it didn't even cross my mind of getting scouted because you don't know about that. So you get scouted. I think there was a few local teams like Wolves, Blues, Villa. I went and tried at all 3. For Wolves, I went there like twice, I think it was, and I hated it. It wasn't nice. I was shy, and like the one drinks break, the ball hit me in the face, and it just embarrassed me a little bit, and it just didn't get the nice vibe there. I didn't feel comfortable there. I didn't like it, so I didn't go back. Blues was all right actually. I think I was close to signing for Blues. You know, they had offered if I signed that I'd be a mascot for the Blues first team against Man United, which it was the good Man United then. It wasn't the current Man United. There was no problems with Blues actually. I quite enjoyed it. I've still got people that I knew from the trial that we keep in touch with now because obviously playing against each other over the years. So that was a good experience. Villa just felt good. It was. You used to train at the indoor facility at Stumps at Villa Park. So the facilities was good. The coaches and the players were just friendly, and it was just kind of, sometimes you can't explain why, but you just feel nice and feel comfortable in an environment. So I ended up signing for Villa, but you can't sign officially until you're under 9. So up until under 9s, you end up playing your grassroots while still doing unofficial trainings and friendlies and stuff with Villa. So I think just if you are in a position that I don't want to say lucky enough, because academies aren't the be-all and end-all, because there's like this. Hopefully this channel's going to prove there's definitely more than one way to becoming a professional footballer. You don't need an academy. It's not a must-have. But if you are in a position that you find yourself in, you needing to choose which academy to choose, or should I sign for an academy versus should I stay at my grassroots, I think the fundamental factor has to be, does the kid enjoy it? Does the kid want to actually be in that team? Otherwise, everything else is irrelevant, because it could be the best academy in the world. If the kid doesn't want to be there, it's pointless. You might as well keep him with your grassroots team. Having said that, if that's all in place and we're taking that for granted and the kid enjoys it and whatever, then I think there's definite factors you can't overlook. I think the pathway through the academy system is massive. When you're 6, 7 or 8, I'm not talking about the pathway into the first team. Don't even look that far ahead. What's the pathway like into the under 12s? What's the pathway like into the under 14s, under 16s? Because there's some academies that as soon as you hit under 11s, they start buying players from different areas and abroad, and obviously Brexit's helped that a little bit, but you know, some clubs aren't known for bringing their own through, and it's not a bad thing, it's just a thing. There's no right or wrong way of academies doing it. It's just, you've got to be careful that some academies might have a local under 9s and then come in under 11s, just sign players from elsewhere. So that's a pathway I'm talking about through the academy, not even to the first team. That's a main factor. The coaching styles, every academy has a different coaching style or a coaching like philosophy. So for example, the Villa one that I grew up in was completely different to the West Brom one. Villa was very focused on the technical element, the footballer first and the physical side afterwards, whereas West Brom, they focused on getting the physical aspect in place first in the hope that they could develop the football inside. And like I said, for me, I was always a tall kid, but like my whole game was technical. So Villa was the right fit because they focused on the technical side more. So the playing style or the coaching style, and again, its personalities, my coaching style suited that. And the third one is, it's going to sound really obvious, but location, because the schedule's tough. The schedule isn't just once a week and then a kick-off on a Sunday. It's you're potentially at the club 4 times from Monday to Friday, plus a game down a Saturday or Sunday. So if you are, I don't know, an hour away, bear that in mind, and don't think you have to accept every academy if one of those 3 factors aren't there. It's not the only way to become a footballer.